Welcome back to friends. It's been about 2 weeks. We've been to Whitby and we've come back again without any major catastrophes or disasters. Obviously me with my optimistic outlook had got this list of things, all these potential things that could go wrong. My wife just said, nothing's going to go wrong, and she was obviously right. Nothing went wrong. We had a great time. I was intending to do a sort of video diary, but because my daughter had an exam on the Friday, so she really couldn't get the day off school. So they went up by public transport, by train in the evening. Hideous, but that's another story for a little bit later. So it was just my son, myself and Ziggy the dog in the van. So with us all slightly panicking and on edge, I didn't get around to doing any video diary. Next time, I promise, because it'd be really fascinating to see what goes into one of these trips. And we set off at 8:30, got the lovely van filled, and the van! I found a company that would actually deliver it to the house a day early, and then collect it a day after we'd got back. Tick the first concern in my head, that the van isn't going to arrive and the whole thing's going to be completely pointless, but it did arrive. Brilliant. And it was brand new. How amazing is that? Lovely van. Seats 6, and has a really nice big bit in the back to put all the stuff in. It was weird taking all the machines down because everywhere just looked so blank, so empty. We kept looking at the walls where we're used to seeing the clock and things. It's very strange what you get used to. And it's amazing how much stuff I ended up taking up. As you can see, this is the whole lounge filled with all the bits and pieces, but all boxed up, and they all did fit nicely into the van. So we got it all loaded up on the Friday, my son and I. Ziggy wasn't that helpful, I have to say, at that point. And we set off. And it went really well. I managed to fill up with diesel. Another thing, number 2 in my head, I'm going to get stuck in the petrol station, or they're not going to... Oh, absolutely ridiculous. But that was nice, and then just headed off. 6 hours journey. And I'm really pleased, because I'd always like to take precautions over everything. Worrier? No. I printed out the map from AA Route Finder to get to Whitby, just in case the phone went wrong, something else went wrong, whatever. And I'm really pleased that we'd got my son's phone, because they shut the M1, like you do of a Friday. Between 2 junctions, major junctions, they just shut it. So we thankfully used Google Maps to get diverted, and we got there at 2 o'clock, because that was box number 3. Worry. We were going to get there because we had until 5 o'clock at the venue, with the venue open, to actually set everything up. And we got there at 2 o'clock. Amazing. We managed to unload everything, find Andy, who set it all up and runs it all very efficiently, and he showed us to our pitch, and we moved everything there, and realised actually that there was an indoor water feature. The night before there'd been heavy rain in Whitby, and because the Whitby Pavilion management don't apparently spend any money, or very little money, on maintenance, there's a big skylight all along one side of the hall, and water was still pouring through. So our pitch had 3 large tanks up the middle, plastic tanks, containers, trying to catch all this water. And he said it's absolutely ridiculous that you hire these places and they don't look after them, and they expect people to actually use them when you've got sheets of water pouring down indoors. I started setting our pitch up and I thought, this isn't right. I've got these machines that have taken me 10 years to design and build. I can arrange them in this place, and if it rains again and they get wet, they're ruined. So I went back to him and I said, look Andy, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to put up with this. I need somewhere waterproof, so I don't have to lie awake at night worrying about what I'm going to find the next morning. He found us a new pitch, which was great, downstairs in the other hall without an indoor water feature. So we set up there, Arthur and I. Ziggy was very well behaved. She just sat quietly, saying hello to a few people quietly. But the lovely thing in Whitby, and generally up north, is that practically everyone owns a dog, and everyone loves dogs. You can take them into every restaurant, every pub, every gallery, museum, shop, every steampunk festival. They're all welcome. It's amazing. In London, they're sort of frowned upon like some plague. You can't take them anywhere. So that was nice, and we got it all set up with plenty of time left. and then found a lovely little house that we'd booked, that my wife had found in Whitby. Absolutely brilliant. My son spent the first hour going around saying, and it's got this, and it's got that. You can't believe it. Why can't our house be like this? Because it had a cold water dispenser on the fridge. It had an Amazon Dot or whatever they're called in each room, and all sorts of things. It's absolutely lovely, really nice. And then we just waited for my wife, my daughter and her friend who was coming up for the weekend as well to arrive. They were meant to arrive at 11 o'clock. Having left at, it's about 6 hours, it's about the same time on the train as it took in the van, but they had to change 3 times. And it sounded, I texted her, and it sounded absolutely dreadful. The 2 trains before the one they were booked on had been cancelled for no apparent reason. So there were 3 times as many people on this one train for this first 2-hour stint of the route. No sitting room. They'd booked a table because my wife wanted to get on with some marking while she was sitting there. Other people had just taken them all. Eventually she managed to persuade someone to move so she could sit down, because she had 3 suitcases or rucksacks or something. So that was an absolute disaster, crammed together, couldn't get to the loo. They were all crying at one stage or another because it was absolutely hideous. So that's the first thing. Then they changed onto the second train, and immediately there was some drunk sitting opposite, and the 2 girls were having a chat quite harmlessly, and then he decided to get involved and started saying obscenities and nasty things. So my wife had to tell him to get off, go away, stop talking, etc. You know, public transport. And then they arrived 4 minutes late at the final station where they were meant to get the final train to Whitby. And they missed it by 4 minutes, by which time my wife and the kids were just in despair. But they went to the station master and they said, look, this is ridiculous. I've got these 2 young girls. He said, I'll get you a cab. And they said, and I'll pay for it. What? Surely, no, you don't have to claim it back. I'll get you a cab straight away. So I was lying in the bath waiting, thinking, right, I'll leave it as long as possible in the bath until I get out and text my wife again. And I heard her outside the bathroom door. Oh, it was lovely. Yeah, they got there an hour earlier because the train took twice as long as a cab. Public transport in the UK, what a joke. People were lovely. Saturday and Sunday we had up there with all day. Luckily we were put next to the photography people who photograph all the people with their lovely outfits that they've made. So there's lots of people walking past, and I haven't ever actually stopped at any of these shows. I just keep talking all the time, which is amazing, which is probably helping why I'm talking like 13 to the dozen now. And just kept demonstrating on the machines, kept talking to everyone. Everyone was so interested. We sold more stuff this time than we've ever sold in the past at any other event, so that was really good, because it helps to offset the cost of the trip. And it was lovely, absolutely great. My wife and my son really engaged with everyone, talking to customers and things and interested parties, meeting people that I'd got to know on YouTube and things, on social media. It was lovely to meet them in person, have a chat and things. So it was great, really enjoyable. And then we thankfully packed away after 4 o'clock on the Sunday, went back to the cottage, out the house, and then didn't have to come home until Tuesday. So it was lovely. So we had a lovely day on the beach. Siggy had a great time. And the Tuesday we had the morning, we went up to the Abbey, that's right, and walked on the beach. And then set off at lunchtime on Tuesday.